Hi, everybody. I'm Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based right outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia, and we practice all types of immigration. We handle all types of immigration cases. But today's question is actually and one that doesn't come up that often. It's many that people don't actually even know about, and it's just not common knowledge in the immigrant community sometimes. What is a special immigrant visa, right? What is a special immigrant visa? So we will get into that. We'll dive deep into that today and provide some extra information on that, how you qualify for a special immigrant visa, to see whether you might qualify, and what it involves. Like, what are all of the benefits that are involved? Before we get started, let me introduce myself again to the folks that are joining. My name is Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia, but my clients are located all throughout the United States. Many are international also. And today we're streaming live on both TikTok and on Facebook. And hello, and thanks for joining. To the people that are watching us on replay, we'll dive deep into that question on what is a special immigrant visa. As a heads up before we get started, though, that all of the information provided today is just general information. It can't be construed as legal advice. If you want to create kind of an attorney-client relationship with me and our law firm, please call us for a consultation, which is, you can reach us at 703-348-1663. Again, that's 703-348-1663. All right, so let's get into our question for today, which is, what is a special immigrant visa? So if you qualify for a special immigrant visa, that means that you are going to get a green card, right? So you'll get a green card. That's what a special immigrant visa is. And it's not the normal family-based visa type. It's not the employment-based, the typical employment-based visa or green card. It is essentially an application to be a lawful permanent resident, which is a green card, to live permanently in the U.S. That is what you get. And the special immigrant visa type, it's this category that encompasses kind of different types of applications, different types of people that the government has called special immigrants. And if they qualify, will qualify for a green card, a work permit if they're in the United States, travel authorization if they're in the United States. If they're not in the U.S., there's a whole process for that as well. So who's a special immigrant, right? So that's usually the next question. Who can qualify as a special immigrant? So our firm, as a heads up, we handle all types of immigration cases. So employment-based, victims of abuse, family-based, really any kind of immigration category that you can think of, we pretty much handle that. So give us a call. We can help you no matter where you are located. If you have immigration questions, we can help you no matter where you are located. You can reach us at 703-348-1663. So getting back to the special immigrant visa, which is a green card. So the way you qualify, so one case that we handle almost all of the time, we handle it very, very often, are people that are married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder that are the victim of abuse. So essentially, people whose spouse refused to file the green card for them, people whose U.S. citizen or green card holder spouse, they might physically harm them, but not in all of our cases. A lot of the times what we see is psychological abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, financial abuse, meaning that, they are restrictive of your finances. They ask you for receipts. Maybe in some situations, everybody's situation is different. Maybe you feel like you can't spend any money without first clearing it with your spouse. Maybe all the money you earn, some of our clients turn over to their spouse, and some of it is parceled out to the person who's without status. So these cases, usually the person that we're helping has come, that person has come into the U.S. Without papers, or they came in legally and their status expired, and their spouse is essentially controlling them, emotionally at least harming them, because of the fact that they don't have status or maybe other reasons as well. So this is a way for them, if you're married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, this is a way for you to apply for a green card without involving your spouse whatsoever. Our firm serves as the agent, so all of the correspondence from USCIS comes to us. So many of our clients don't want their spouse to know that they're moving forward with this process. They're nervous their spouse might be checking their mail or their email. So we have a whole system set up to keep things confidential. So if you or someone you know is in the situation where their spouse is refusing to help them apply for a green card, if their spouse is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, or extorting them for money or other things, in hopes of applying for their, getting them to agree to apply for their green card. I mean, there's lots of different situations where the U.S. citizen or green card holders' behavior is a bit abusive. It doesn't necessarily have to be physically abusive, but it is in a manner that could help the person that's undocumented qualify to apply for a green card on their own without their spouse. So this is what I mean by a special immigrant visa. So this is one category. There's many different categories of special immigrant visa types. Okay, so there's many different categories. So you'll have to, look into what works best for you if you do qualify for that. This one in particular is for victim of abuse. If my clients do qualify, or my clients that qualify for this, what they end up getting is a work permit in about 6 to 8 months. They get a green card in about 2 to 2.5 years. They also, the ones that are here without status and they can't travel back to their home country, this is really important for them. They get travel authorization also in 6 to 8 months. So based on the pending green card application in the special immigrant visa category, they will get work authorization, travel authorization, and ultimately a green card, and eventually, hopefully a citizenship as well. So it's an option for people that do qualify, that are married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and they are facing a difficult situation. And again, also for people who have children who are 21 or over, who are U.S. citizens, and they are not applying for your green card, or they're being controlling or abusive as well. So give us a call if we can help you schedule a consultation on this. We're at 703-348-1663. Also, let me get into a couple of other special immigrant visa categories that we're working with. So one of them is for religious visas, right? So for people who are religious workers that work with a religious organization, that's a 501c3. If you don't know what that is, it's a nonprofit religious organization. Essentially, depending on the type of work they're doing for the religious organization, they can also qualify for a green card, right? So there's a petition. If they're in the U.S., they'll be able to apply for a green card. You can get work authorization based on a pending green card application, and then ultimately a green card, and of course citizenship after having a green card for 5 years. So those are both really interesting categories of what's called a special immigrant visa. Not everyone will qualify. So if you or someone you know is in this situation, feel free to call our office. We're at 703-348-1663, and we can do a consultation. I do them by Zoom or by phone. So based on your preference, when you schedule the consultation, make sure you let Brian, who is answering our phones right now, and helping you schedule a consultation, make sure you let Brian know if you would prefer by Zoom or by phone. All right, great. So I'm going to take some questions here. We're streaming again on TikTok and on Facebook. So if you see me looking back and forth, I have multiple devices going here. So if we're streaming on both Facebook and on TikTok, so if you actually want to be notified when I go live, which is not the same time every day, if you want to be notified, make sure you like our page on Facebook and you follow us on TikTok. My handle is at Agarwal Immigration on both platforms. So Agarwal is AGARWAL. Make sure that you like us on both All right. Okay, let me go ahead and start taking some questions. Sorry, it took me a bit to get to this point, but hi, Sunny. Nice to see you. Sunny on Facebook is saying if you have a VAWA pending and you got an interview for an I-130 from your wife, what to do, right? Well, it depends, Sunny. So these are both separate applications. The only time it's problematic is if you're inconsistent with what's being said in the I-130 adjustment of status versus the I-360. That's when it would be problematic. Again, what Sunny is asking me about is one of the categories that I just spoke about, right? I just spoke about people that are eligible for a green card because their spouse is abusive. Their U.S. citizen or green card holder spouse is potentially abusive, and they qualify for a green card based on the fact that they are a victim of abuse. And when I say abuse, it can be many different things. It can be emotional abuse where they're calling you names, they're hurting your feelings, they put you down for things that you can't figure out and can't explain. Maybe they're financially abusive that you have to, give your receipts. You have to ask permission for any money you spend. Maybe they're making you work like a servant, you feel like, in your own home. So all of these different ways to qualify, as long as you have a U.S. citizen or green card holder spouse and you've lived with them for a certain period. If you're experiencing challenges in this relationship, I would say schedule a consultation to see if you might be eligible to apply for a green card on your own without your spouse. So that is what Sunny is talking about. He's talking about his VAWA application. And he's saying, I have a I-130 pending. So an I-130 is the actual normal, the typical green card process where your spouse is filing for you. They're sponsoring you. They show that they're financially capable. They promise to make sure that you're not a public charge, many other things. So they're both running parallel, right? Sometimes they're both running parallel in many of our client situations. And he's saying he got an interview on one side. What should I do? If your wife is willing to go with you, heck, go give it a try. But many of the times, for us at least, the wife or the husband in many cases will refuse to go to the green card interview, or it becomes this kind of thing that they're holding over their spouse's head, their undocumented spouse's head. Like, I'm not going to go. I am going to go. I'm not going to go. If you don't do this, I'm not going to go. If you don't buy me this, I'm not going to go to the interview. So the VAWA application is really a way to be independent of your spouse if you're in this abusive situation. So give us a call if you think that you might be in this situation, if you or someone might benefit from applying for a green card through this process. Okay. My name again is Pratibha Agarwal. We handle these cases pretty often. If we can help you, I'd love to help you. We're at 703-348-1663. Schedule a consultation, and I'd love to chat with you more about your eligibility for this type of case. And I hope I answered your question, Sunny. Hi, Harsha is saying, what's the current date now for a U visa? A U visa is taking many years. However, the good news for people on a U visa or people that want to apply for a U visa, you can also apply for work authorization along with your U visa application. So first, you have to get certification. So let me go back for those who are unfamiliar with a U visa. So U visas are for victims of crime or people that can be a witness to a crime, right? So that they certainly reach out to their, they are willing to help the government or the police department prosecute a crime, and they're willing to provide information and cooperate. So it's really created to keep undocumented people from kind of being victims of crime or witnessing crimes and having to stay in the shadows because they're afraid to go to the police because they don't have status, right? So the U visa really gives them protection. It gives you protection so you can essentially stay in the country. So if you get a U visa, then you're on the path to a green card. You can apply for a green card after having a U visa. And once you have a green card, you can apply to become a U.S. citizen. And this can also happen for your children, for your spouse as well. Okay. But the thing is, this is what the question is about. The thing is, there's a wait time for U visas, right? So there's only a certain, I think there's about 10,000 a year that are issued, many more applications than visas available. So there's a wait list. So you should still file your application. The benefit here is that you can get a work authorization. You can work legally once you file the application if it's considered a bona fide application. This is new. This is new with this administration. So if you have a U visa pending, or if you think you might qualify, I would say call us for a consultation, and we definitely will chat with you about what the soonest option is for you to get work authorization, so you can work basically for any employer in the U.S., which is awesome, which is really awesome for so many people. Give us a call for a consultation. We're at 703-348-1663. Jasmine says, can an F1 file for it? I don't know if you're talking about a U visa, Jasmine, or if you're talking about the special immigrant visa. So yeah, usually you can file for it. Depends on whether you qualify, right? So you should give us a call to see if you might qualify. So one of the ways is if you're a victim of abuse. The other one could be if you're a religious worker. You have to be a religious worker for at least 2 years. And then the third is, we're working on some cases where there's a new program called the Special Immigrant Visa Program for people that help the government, the U.S. government in Afghanistan several years ago. And so we're working on that type as well. So they too will be eligible for a green card. Deoxy is saying, is there any risk for my spouse to be in deportation? I'm not sure what that would be. So if your spouse is a green card holder and you are a victim of abuse, sorry, my phone is shaking here. If you're a victim of abuse, they're not going to get deported because there's no police report, there's no criminal conviction. If that's what Deoxy is asking me, there's no criminal conviction, right? It's based on your statement. So I wouldn't say there's any particular risk to your green card holder spouse. If they're a citizen, clearly absolutely no risk at all for your spouse at that point. But I need to clarify your question, but give us a call and let's see if you qualify. I would suggest having a consultation so we can go through the eligibility to make sure that you qualify. We are at 703-348-1663. If my case is in California, can I work in New York? Are you asylum case pending? If your case is in California and you move to New York, we can certainly, do a change of venue for you and move your case to New York, so you don't have to travel all the way to California for your hearing or your interview. So give us a call if we can help you with that. We're in DC, right outside of DC in Arlington, Virginia. So I have many cases. I have many clients in New York. So give us a call if we can help you. Okay, we're at 703-348-1663. Deoxy says, I got married after filing a U visa, and I want to include her, but I'm in deportation. We have a little guest here. Hi there. All right. Okay, honey. All right, guys, we have a little friend visiting here. As you can see, I'm working from home. And say hi. Say hi. Okay. All right, so I'm going to hop off. Nice to see everybody here. Feel free to call us for a consultation. We're at 703-348-1663. Thanks so much.